Okay guys, so today we are going to be working on the 4Runner. My wife said that it was smoking a little bit the other day, and I checked under the hood. I couldn't ever get it to smoke myself, but the valve cover gaskets are leaking, which these are very prone to do. So I'm going to be doing that today, putting a little halt to the Bronco. Got the coolant drained, the oil drained, got the hoses off. I got new hoses, new belts I'm gonna put on. The transmission's done, so I just got to put it in, put the U-joint in the drive shaft. But whenever I get done with the 4Runner, I'll probably get back on this. But like I said, the transmission is done. It's ready to go in. And then just a few minor things. I got the brakes done. I got the pads and the master cylinder put on. I got the master cylinder bench blade. Put the pads on. I do need to drain the fuel and put a fuel filter on. But today we're going to be focusing on this 4Runner right here. This thing has been quite a joy, honestly. I love these vehicles. Whenever me and my wife first met, it was bone stock. I ended up redoing all the brakes, the pads, calipers, master cylinder, rotors, brake lines. Did a tune-up on it, air filter, all that, spark plugs, and then I did compressor, condenser, dryer, the valve cover gaskets. I've already done those once, and then I did a timing belt kit with all the tensioners, pulleys, replaced the serpentine belts, and then I got these Maxxis 311050s, and then the Pro Comp wheels, 15x8s. Got the Weston running boards. I do eventually want to get a roof rack to go on top, and get a light bar to go into this bumper. But yeah, it's got almost 260,000 miles on it. It's been a great vehicle, but eventually we're going to get something new. This is going to be mostly for camping and trail riding and whatever we don't take this Bronco to do. So I'll keep you guys updated. Check in with you just in a bit. I would video the whole thing, but unfortunately the iPad's almost dead, so I'm gonna have to let it charge for just a little bit. So once it gets charged up a little bit, I'll check back in with you guys, show you where I'm at, and hopefully it'll be charged enough to do a little bit more footage. So alright, I'll check in just a bit. Alright, so before I get started, let me just show you guys. She said that the smoke was coming from right down here under the throttle body. She sent me a video, but it wasn't smoking in the video, but it may be difficult to see from right here. But way down in there you can see where the oil's been dripping a little bit. You can see a little bit on this side if I can get it to focus. Just a little bit. And then right here you can see pretty good. It's kind of hard to see. It's really sunny out today, but it's dripping down right there, and you can see it's dripping down onto the manifold. So here are the gaskets, and it comes with spark plug tube seals. So you gotta remove the air boot. The intake manifold's gonna have to come off. All these, the linkages, and all these vacuum hoses. There's really, by the labor times, I think the last one Okay, so by the labor times, at the shop that I work at, we use Mitchell, and I think it comes out to like a 2.5, close to 3-hour job, but it really doesn't take that long. I may be wrong on that, I can't remember, but I do think that that's about what it is for the valve covers, which these are very common to leak, but it really doesn't take that long, especially if you know what you're doing and if you've done it before. But yeah, so you're gonna need gaskets, and then also some RTV silicone. But I just wanted to show you guys, even if y'all may not have been able to tell exactly where the leaks were, just wanted to show you guys a little bit before I got started on it. So I'll check in here in just a bit. Alright, so I actually got a little carried away and forgot to tune back in with y'all whenever I had the valve cover off. So to get to this left side, you've got to at least have the upper intake manifold off. For the other side, you're gonna have to take the lower manifold off. But we've already got this side done. Here's the old gasket. Wasn't pinched, there's no visible defects to it. Like I said, these 3/4s were notorious for the valve covers leaking. So, you know, it just happened, whatever. But I used a pretty good bit of silicone RTV. So we're about to take the lower intake manifold off and go ahead and do the other side. Most everything you're going to need is just a set of pliers, you know, take the hose clamps off, and then a 10mm and 12mm socket. And to get to these back bolts back here, might want to use a wobble just to get to those, as well as on this side. But really, other than that, it's pretty simple. That one side just took me, you know, like 20-30 minutes. So this side's pretty easy too. Once you get the lower intake manifold off, then there's not much to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this lower intake manifold off, and then once I get the other valve cover off, then I'll show you how I choose to how I like to seal them. So I'll check back in with you here in just a minute. Okay, so here we go. Here's the other valve cover. The only thing I can really see on this one is right there. Looks like it may have pinched a little bit and started coming apart. The other side was actually the one that was leaking the worst. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this gasket out, and we'll put the new gasket in the valve cover, and then on the there we go, on the head we're going to put the RTV basically around everywhere that this is gonna seal up. We're going to take these spark plug tube seals out. The gasket set comes with new ones. It also comes with, these are the old ones, but it comes with new washers for the bolts. So that's pretty much it. It's up to you if you wanted to go in there and use some parts cleaner and really try to clean this up. Unfortunately, I'm pressed on time. I mean, it's not going to make much of a difference, really. The whole problem was it was leaking. So what I'm trying to do is just solve the leak. I'm limited on time. I got to get this thing done relatively quickly. Got to go pick up my son here after a while. So like I said, we're just going to reseal the valve cover with the gasket, and then right along here we're going to be putting our TV on both sides. And then after that, just bolt everything back up and she will be ready to go. So won't take too much longer. That's pretty much the gist of it. I'll check back in with you whenever it's done. Whenever you get it back on, it's very important to try to remember where everything goes. If you ever if you don't have, a magnetic tray or something to keep all your bolts in, it's very wise to, once you take a bolt out, just to say, if you needed to, if you were going to forget where it went, put the bolt back where it was. That way you don't lose it, don't end up with extra bolts and they end up not where they're supposed to go. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can, you don't have to, but you can go ahead and replace the intake gaskets. It wouldn't hurt to do. I'm not doing it this time, but it definitely would be, preventative and pretty wise to go ahead and do it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll check back in with you. Just make sure that you get all your vacuum hoses hooked back up, your ground. Try to get everything back in place. That way you're not, nothing's getting burnt from sitting on maybe a manifold or getting too hot on the head or anything like that. So yeah, I'll check back in with you once I get this thing ready to start up. Alright guys, she's back up and running. Made sure I got my throttle linkages, all my vacuum hoses, everything's torqued down real good. Of course all the fluid that spilled a little bit, there's a little bit of coolant, and of course a little bit of oil that's going to burn off. Use brake clean to clean everything up and put some whole lot cleaner. So yeah, that's going to be it, and I'll keep y'all up with, I forgot to mention that I did do the radiator and hoses not too long ago. Probably a couple other things I'm forgetting, but anyways, like and subscribe, and I will have plenty more videos coming up on the Bronco here pretty soon. So thank you guys for watching.